damage to the gear. I don't know if you see that. Just a few pieces laying on the bottom here. I'll never be able to get those with a magnet. So it's hit and miss. Glad we did that. Got all new bearings coming, new bushings, might as well. We're this far anyway. Clean it up, tack her back together, and away we go. Press works too, but it's all the way at the other end of the shot. Inside this shaft is a brass bushing there. Now the only way to get that out, generally they have a seam at one end where it's joined together. And it's hard to get them out without scratching the outside surface. So what I usually do is I've got this brass punch, or brass, I don't know what it is, brass. Well, it's got a nice flat end on it, and you just take a grinder and you put a sharp point on the one end, and it'll wear really fast. You can scrape it down the side and peel a section out, and then on the opposite end of that seam, and then both sides will fall in. The new ones have that seam. I don't see it in the old one, so we'll see if this works. You can see I'm starting to peel that away. So yeah, actually you can see the old one was a better design. It had that little, like a puzzle piece in there, and that's how you scrape it. And then, because you use that brass punch, there's no sign of any damage inside here. What happens is if you scratch it, you'll put a burr in there. When you scratch it, you'll get a little bit of a burr, and then the bushing won't sit tight up against the steel. And these tolerances are pretty picky, so it won't get the right oil clearance, and you'll get premature failure. I am going to use the press to press the new one in so it goes in nice and smooth, slow and steady. No banging on it because you'll peel the edges over. So these springs that hold the guard on the back side comes through. This is the old one. This is why I'm replacing it, because it's bent. You can see that. These snap rings go around the tip here. They're real pain because the spring is fighting it. What works is if you take skinny needle nose, push the spring down with the retainer underneath it, take your ring, pop it on, take a socket that just fits over top of the pin, and then just give it one quick little tap. It's in place. And then very carefully take your vice grips off and let the guide come up. And then what you want to do is just take a little screwdriver and just make sure that that ring is seated all the way in. If that comes apart, it can do some damage. So once it's in there, you can see that. Once it's in there, it's not going to come back out again. So this is a little valve that activates this clutch. This is the lever for it, and I see there's a groove on both sides, and I'm looking at this wondering, well, does it go this way on the left, or does it go this way on the right? And then after closer observation, I see that one ear is broken. So after ordering all my parts and just about being ready to roll her back together, I need to order another part. It sucks. If you've ever wondered why it takes longer to get your stuff back than what the mechanic quotes and why it's more expensive, is this is the old one, this is the new one. You see it's got a half moon that slides over this bar here. and there's nothing to keep this from sliding off other than the valve that sits in between the fork. So there must have had an issue with these coming off, so the updated version has a hole in it, but I did not see, or my parts guy did not see the sub, that if you buy this one, you also have to buy a new rod that goes, shifter linkage that goes through the transmission. So what I did was I lined the two up together and vice gripped them together. I had just enough meat sticking out past that I could find the right spacing and the right positioning, and then I drilled a hole. Now I can't stick it in the lathe because the linkage is on the end. I don't want to cut that off and get into that, so I'm just going to braze this end here, close it off, and then file it and spin it around until it fits in. So here we go. Hey, you're still watching, great. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You never know what you're gonna get. If it's got a throttle, we work on it. Help support the channel by picking up a tape boss off tapeboss.com.
And remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich.